My beautiful YouTube peeps, what is good? Yours truly, Marv, back for another episode of Marvin's Room. Thank you guys, as always, for tuning in, staying locked in with me. To the new subscribers, welcome to the channel. Got a great video today for you guys about love, because why not? It's the holiday season and love is in the air. Do you feel it? Do you feel it? Because I feel it. Let's get right into it. A viewer sent me a question and said, how can I free my specific person? So I'm going to make this video getting ready to talk about Florence Scovel Shinn and how she said to free your specific person, because I think she had a great example in her book, In the Game of Life, How to Play It, and how a woman freed her specific person and ultimately brought him back and ultimately was proposed to and got married and lived happily ever after. You know how the story goes. Now, let's get right into it to answer this viewer's question on freeing a specific person and how Florence says to go about it. Every man on this planet is taking his initiative in love. A new commandment I give unto you, that ye love one another. Ouspensky states in Tertium Organum that love is a cosmic phenomenon and opens to man the fourth dimensional world, the world of wonders. So here she is, she's quoting from another guy's book that love is a cosmic phenomenon and opens man to the fourth dimensional world. So love itself, and I've said this before in the past and others have said it, love itself arguably may be the most important force of energy in the universe. If it's not the most powerful, it's definitely one of the most powerful forces in the universe. And she says love alone will open you to the fourth dimensional world. And I think this kind of goes hand in hand with like in the Bible, because in the Bible it states that love covers a multitude of sins. So that alone, if you can love and really understand and grasp that, love covers a multitude of sins. And I think this is kind of what is stated right here that we just read. Love, if love can open you to the fourth dimensional world, that basically means no matter what's going on in your physical reality, like love triumphs all of that. So love can get you from here to here. Love can get you forgiveness. Love can get you pretty much everything. And I think that's an amazing attractor factor that we all have that can help you get to 0 from 100 almost overnight in a relatively short period of time. So let's continue. Real love is selfless and free from fear. It pours itself out upon the object of its affection without demanding anything in return. I think this is powerful because a lot of us, when we start this specific person journey specifically, we always are doing it to try to get. And we demand so much in return. And when the 3D is not giving us anything in return, we get mad, and then we're doing all these conform SP affirmations, trying to get our SP to conform, you know, and then we don't see any movement. But here she just says real love is selfless. It's not about you. It's not about what you can get. It's not about what you want all the time. It's about being free. It's about freeing your person. Selfless. It's not about you all the time. Free yourself from fear, the fear and anxiety behind your person and whatever happened and what's going on. And not demanding them do anything. If my person doesn't text me, I'm not demanding them text me. If my person doesn't call me, I'm not demanding them to call me, because now I am free of fear. I'm selfless. I understand they're doing whatever they might have to fix themselves or whatever, and I'm doing what I have to do. So I'm freeing them from demanding anything in return. It's joy in the beginning. It's joy in the joy of giving. Love is God in manifestation and the strongest magnetic force in the universe. Pure unselfish love draws to itself its own. It does not need to seek or demand. Scarcely anyone has the faintest conception of real love. I agree. Most people on earth have no idea what real love is, what real unconditional love, because especially in 2022, love is conditional. Love is conditional. Everybody loves people based on the condition, you only do X, Y, and Z. If you only do X, Y, and Z, then I will love you. But as you'll see in this story, that's not unconditional love, and that will draw nothing to you, because like she said, pure unselfish love draws to itself its own. It does not need to seek or demand. You don't need to seek it, and you don't need to demand anything from it, because when you do that, you're telling yourself you don't have it instead of becoming that. So I'm gonna read that one more time. It does not, pure unselfish love draws to itself its own. It does not need to seek or demand. Scarcely anyone has the faintest conception of love. Man is selfish, tyrannical, or fearful in his affections. He is, because when we get something, a lot of times when people get stuff, they become selfish with it. They become, tyranny takes in, and they become fearful in its effect, in his affections for it. Meaning, I don't want to lose this. I'm afraid to lose this. I don't want to lose this. I hope I never lose this. And then, in fact, that draws it, the very thing that you fear, if you stay in that, it ends up happening because you are so fearfully attached to it, selfishly attached to it. And the more you try, it's like sand. The more you try to squeeze sand and hold on to that shit, shit falls right out of your hands. But when you loosen up your hand and you let sand sit in your hand, notice how it stays. I just said some God level shit, yo. Write that shit down. Jealousy is the worst enemy of love, for the imagination runs riot, seeing the loved one attracted to another, and invariably these fears objectify if they are not neutralized. I don't gotta go into that because I think everybody watching this video has that jealousy in them, has had that feeling of, I don't want my specific person being with another person, and that fear, you know, and if you persist in it, you know, it, and if not neutralized, like she says, it objectifies. Basically what Neville is saying, when you continue to live in the old man state, you continue to make that assumption that their person is with somebody else, then that shit's going to happen in reality. Because like Neville says, an assumption, if persisted in, it's going to harden into fact. And that's exactly what Florence is basically saying, the same shit. You know what I mean? So, for example, a woman came to me in deep distress. The man she had loved had left her for another woman. Damn, happened again. Let's see what's going to happen. The man she loved had left her for another woman and said he never intended to marry her. She was torn with jealousy and resentment and said she hoped he would suffer as he had made her suffer, and added, how could he leave me when I loved him so much? I replied, you are not loving that man, you are hating him, and added, you can never receive what you have never given. Give a perfect love and you will receive a perfect love. So here's another great example of how this lady, she was so torn with jealousy and resentment that she was wishing harm to him, and she hoped he suffered the same way he had made her suffer. And as you guys know, is what I've said in past videos, what you wish for another person, you are wishing for yourself. And as Florence just said, she said, how could you leave me when I loved him so much? And she said, no, you're not loving that man. You're hating him, which she is. You can never receive what you have never given. She never really gave a perfect love. She thought she gave a perfect love based on worldly conditions. But as you guys know, unconditional love is when you receive unconditional love back. So give a perfect love and you will receive a perfect love. Perfect yourself on this man. Give him a perfect, unselfish love, demanding nothing in return. Do not criticize or condemn. Bless him wherever he is. This is what I tell you guys repeatedly. I tell people I work with one-on-one repeatedly. Let go, forgive, bless that man. Unselfish, pure love, demanding nothing in return. Don't demand a text. Don't demand whatever. Don't demand a phone call. Don't demand they give you a Christmas gift because Christmas is right around the corner. Don't demand them come see you for New Year's. Don't demand anything. Give them a perfect unselfish love. Let them be. Now, let's go to the next one. She said no. She replied no. Of course, because this is what most people do. So, of course, she replied no. You know, reading this now, I'm not even shocked. Of course she said no, because everybody pretty much says no in the beginning. I won't bless him unless I know where he is, she said. That's what you guys said. I won't bless my specific person unless I know he's home on a Friday or Saturday night. I won't bless them. But she said no. She said, well, I said that is not real love. Okay? She went on to say then, when you send out real love will return to you from either this man or his equivalent. For if this man is not the divine selection, you will not want him. As you are one with God, you are one with the love which belongs to you by divine right. Several months passed and matters remained about the same. But as she was working conscientiously with herself, I said, when you are no longer disturbed by his cruelty, he will cease to be cruel. As you are attracting it through your emotions, as Neville talks about, you're living in the end of the old man. You're living in the end of all of the old past events. So he's going to continue to be that way because everyone is you pushed out, as you know. Let's continue. When you are no longer disturbed by his cruelty, he will cease to be cruel as you are attracting it through your own emotions. I told her about a brotherhood in India who never said good morning to each other. They used the words, I salute the divinity in you. They saluted the divinity in every man and in the wild animals and in the jungle, and they were never harmed, for they only saw God in everything living. I said, salute the divinity in this man, and I say, see your divine self. I see you as God sees you, perfect, made in his image and likeness. So this is powerful. She's basically saying that even in the wild, you can salute divinity in the animals. And when you show love, unconditional love, and you're not fearful of animals in the jungle, in the wild, you'll never be touched, you'll never be harmed, as these people in India used to say. And they were blessed and they were never harmed because they only saw the God in everything. And I think if you guys apply this to your specific person, I think it will be the same way with them, and you get the same exact outcome when you see that your person is made in his image and likeness. So bless the divinity in your specific person, right? She found she was becoming more poised and gradually losing her resentment. He was a captain, and she always called him the cat. One day, she said suddenly, "God bless the cat, wherever he is." I replied, "Now, that is real love. And when you have become a complete circle and are no longer disturbed by the situation, you will have his love or attract its equivalent." I was moving at the time, and I did not have a telephone, so I was out of touch with her for a few weeks. When one morning I received a letter saying, "We are married." At the earliest opportunity, I paid her a call. My first words were, "What happened?" "Oh," she explained, "a miracle. One day I woke up and the suffering had ceased. I saw him that evening and he asked me to marry him. We were married in about a week, and I have never seen a more devoted man. There is an old saying, no man is your enemy, no man is your friend. Every man is your teacher. So you should become impersonal and learn what each man has to teach him. And soon he would learn his lessons and be free." The woman's lover was teaching her selfless love, which every man sooner or later must learn. This is powerful. And I think this is something that every one of us has gone through in the past or is still currently going through, especially from your specific person in a romantic relationship. They are your biggest teacher because they're reflecting back to you issues you need to 100% work on, because when you're in a relationship, it's two people. It's not about what you want. It's not about them doing everything for you. Ask yourself, what have you given your specific person back when you were in a relationship? Were you doing everything right? And if you were doing everything right, were you only doing everything right out of fear? Because this is another key component. Maybe you were doing everything right, but maybe you were doing everything right out of fear, out of jealousy. So there was an underlying emotion behind it that was causing you to do things that you thought were pure, but really weren't actually pure, because there was no unconditional love behind it. It was conditional because you were so of fear. You were afraid. Like I said earlier, you were squeezing on to the sand. You were squeezing onto the water. And the more you squeeze onto sand in the water, the more it slips out of your hand instead of just holding it there. When you hold water in your hand, you can actually keep it there. But the moment you try to squeeze it out of fear because you think you're running out of every last drop, that's when you lose it. So where are you doing that? And I think Florence does a great job at showing you how this person freed themselves of the fear and anxiety, bitterness, resentment around their person, and was able to attract them back. Yo, listen, just re-listen to this shit, because this is some powerful shit. And if you don't want to re-listen to me, read it with my messed up reading, then just go read the book yourself and reread this part over and over and over again, so you guys can understand real unconditional love once and for all, so you can manifest either your specific person back, an old one, or manifest this equivalent, whoever's the divine selection. It's your boy Marv back with that fire, that heat, 100 miles an hour. I'll see y'all next time. You know where, you know when.